Making her debut as an artist in Malden's art exhibit titled Our Warming Planet, Visions of a Sustainable Future, Medford-based Megan Polcaro hopes her pieces encourage people to rethink their relationship with nature. For Polcaro, art is a powerful vehicle for engagement, sparking curiosity, conversation, and action on pressing societal issues.
So my mother-in-law is the one who sent me the call. This is my very first show. I didn't start making art until 2020 to keep my sanity. And so this show is kind of a way to enter the art world. Um, I don't really know anything about it. And when I got that call, I I really doubted whether I was even going to take it or like enter or not. And a good group of people, a great family, lots of support network. So they all encouraged me to submit some work. And I had a friend that texted me every day until the work was submitted to make sure that I did do that because she knew that maybe I feel like I have a little imposter syndrome, never having done this before. My background is in special education. So this is very, very, very different from anything I've done before. I've definitely been interested in sewing my whole life, making clothes. I make clothes for my kids, make clothes for my cats. um, but when I started to take these shells and really get into the love of climate action and biology that I've always had, despite never working in that field, um, I was confident that I liked the pieces. And I started giving them away for a long time instead of you doing anything with it. And then all those people were like, why are you not selling these? Why are you not showing these somewhere? And I don't know, maybe I grew up shy. Maybe it's like I'm 52 years old. So it's been a long time since I've been having to put myself out there. Teaching was really easy for me. And after 20 years, it just becomes like it becomes a challenge still, but it's within my wheelhouse. And this is just a little bit outside my wheelhouse, or I felt that way. I'm feeling less so as time goes by. And um, I'm really excited for the show, actually. So I've always loved biology. And when I was graduating high school, I thought I would be a marine scientist and went to college for that, but then soon found out after 1 year that wasn't what I wanted to do. But that love has always been with me. And so when I started collecting the horseshoe crab molts and the shells, just because beach combing is something I've always loved doing, I started making things with that. And the call came after some of the pieces that I made that I'm submitting. So when I saw that call, I was like, oh, wow, this really fits the pieces that I'm working with. I mean, the horseshoe crabs have been living for 450 million years, longer than dinosaurs and trees, and they're threatened now. Their numbers are dwindling, and I think people need to realize that everything is affected. You know, lots of people don't necessarily see horseshoe crabs. Some people are like, what is that? I mean, I don't even know what you're talking about if they haven't lived near the coast or near brackish water. So it's important for me to use this. They're kind of grotesque and beautiful at the same time. And I feel like climate change is like that. The work we need to do is hard. It's a little ugly, but it's important. And in the end, it results in something beautiful. Sure. So one of my pieces is called Guardian of the Tides, and it's a horseshoe crab molt on a canvas with some embellishments. Is I guess better for lack of better words here. Um, the process for me is very important that I'm upcycling things. I don't want to purchase materials for my art. I want to reuse and repurpose. I think a lot about what that saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I find that very true. So when I started, I had some of my husband's grandmother's costume jewelry from when she was young, and some of it was broken and it just pieces that his mother had never wanted to get rid of. But I was like, we can make new life with this. And so I started applying those to the crabs. I will lay the pieces over. Um, I kind of practice with paint swatches on paper, laying jewelry next to it, trying to see what colors work, what shapes work. I'll lay things across the shells to look for massing, but I do not have an idea at the beginning. It's very much organic how it comes out. Um, then to mount the shells, I was like, I don't want to buy things. So I do actually purchase things, but I go to thrift stores and dig through all the bins of frames and photos. And that this piece I particularly found a canvas that was perfect size, 10-inch by 20-inch, and they had already painted some teal and purple on it. And I was like, wow, this is a really beautiful canvas. I'm going to take this. And then I took it home and added my own pieces to it, the crab on top, some more jewelry. And it just, I really love this piece. You can see that there's some different textures. There's mussel shell, crab mussel shells. There's rope, sisal rope that makes me think about the docks and piers. There's clear crystal beads that I rolled up into a little sea creature that reminds me a lot of a jelly. And I just kind of know when I'm done, I guess. Like I put pieces on, and sometimes I have to take them off and be like, okay, less is more. And then sometimes more is more. So I wouldn't say that I sketch anything out. I just take it piece by piece. My previous job was a special needs early childhood teacher. So children have been a part of my life since that was my first job when I was 14, was working at a camp, and I didn't leave until I was 48 and went to help my husband out. So I've worked with kids in art, I've worked with them in science, and this show brings both of those together, as you spoke of earlier, where we have climate action and then we have art. And in my teaching, art and science are always together. Color mixing at the very basic is science. And so my hope as kids come through is that they can see from my pieces creatures they may see at the beach, since we are pretty coastal, and things they may have been scared of before, because in the wild, the horseshoe crab looks like a little tank. And they're kind of creepy. They have 10 legs. They're not related to crabs at all. They're more closely related to scorpions. And yeah, sometimes I think that freaks kids out. And so I hope that it brings it more to their level, that this is something that's important in the nature. And I didn't hurt the creature because they have to grow and shed these shells as they age. And rather than having them, sure, they would break down to sand ultimately and go back to the earth. But I think they can teach a lesson to children to make it attractive, that art is attractive, climate change is attractive, reusing materials is attractive, that it doesn't need to. I was always afraid of being an artist because I couldn't draw a face, couldn't draw a hand. And I think that this process taught me that you don't have to draw to be an artist. And maybe kids that don't know how to draw will also see that and be inspired to create in whatever endeavor they have. So I have thought about that a lot, and conveniently enough, I'm dear friends with a woman who is consultant to municipalities across the nation, helping them write climate action plans and reach their goals. So I invited her to the show, of course, and she's trying to make it. She has to travel out for a business first thing in the morning, the day after the opening, but I will bring her by at some point. And she was just so impressed at the idea of Malden using an art show to market their plan, because marketing is a lot of what she does. So my hope, I guess, is that she'll take this to other municipalities and suggest it to them, and that communities around the nation will start creating art in the name of science and bringing those together. I mean, especially in today's climate. And if these art shows can engage the community in a way that they might not have been engaged before, then I think that's a good step forward.
Support for the Civic TV network comes from viewers, readers, and listeners like you. Visit civicscitv.org to learn more.